excuse me while I whip this out.
From the world-famous Blackbird Studios, it's the Rave X podcast. And now, Rave X.
Hot damn, baby, it's your boy Rave X live coming at you from the world-famous Blackbird Studios, but you guys already know that. Welcome to episode 39, a little episode I like to call Vigilante. That's right. Now, today's show is a very interesting show because I didn't even know what I was going to, talk about. So I put some topics, kind of mixed them around, and then I picked one out of a hat, and I said, whatever I pick out of a hat, that's what I'm going to talk about because I'm that damn good. So what we're going to talk about today is a long time ago, man, when I had a couple of motorcycles and I was reading way too many comic books. I thought, hey, man, wonder if I went out late at night and tried to, stop crimes and stuff. I know, it's stupid, but, I grew up on Superman, Batman, and all the comic books that came after that. And I had this really cool motorcycle, man, and I was about 17. Black motorcycle, painted it black at my friend's house. Because, look, I wasn't going to drive around in anything other than a black motorcycle. You guys know me. I'm a hero. Black leather jacket, boots, black helmet, visor, sunglasses, black gloves. So I would just drive around on this really loud, relatively powerful motorcycle. And I'm zipping around town and I'm just looking for stuff. Now, I don't know exactly what I'm looking for because I've never done this, right? But I thought it would be cool if I could somehow stop some type of crime in progress, right? And the funny thing is, I did, and then I didn't. And there's two short stories here. And I'm trying to think of which one I want to tell first. Let's see. Okay, let's tell the one about when I didn't stop the crime. So, I'm driving around on my motorcycle, right? Really loud engine because I had pulled the baffles out of the pipes. And if you ever heard an old Harley Davidson, boom, 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 that's because those things, they don't have baffles in the pipes which quiet them down, right? Now, I wanted my bike to be loud because I wanted people to hear me coming. So I'm riding around. I'm on this loud bike, man. I got my black jacket on and my sunglasses and shit. And the sun's kind of setting already, so it's getting dark. And I'm driving around kind of looking for something to stop, And I'm riding around sort of an industrial part of town, right? Kendall Square, if you guys know the area. And I look into this parking lot, and sort of behind this car, I can see someone wrestling with a woman on the ground. And I'm thinking, oh my God, this is it. This is it. I have to do something. This is what I was looking for. I wanted to somehow stop a crime. And there's a crime going on. Someone's assaulting this poor woman. And I have to do something, and I'm nervous, right? And my mouth gets dry, and I'm like, okay. So I pull around to the other side of the building where they can't see me, and I put down my visor with my sunglasses on so they can't see my face, and I rev the engine, and I pop it into gear, and I take off into this parking lot around to where the car is, to where this guy is doing something horrible to this woman on the ground. And I rev the engine, and I'm burning up dust and dirt and shit. And I cut on my high beams, and the high beams flash on them. And sure enough, there was a guy, and she's putting up a fight, and he's wrestling with her. And then I stop, and I look, and they both hop up off the ground, and they turn and they look at me, and they've got like this embarrassed look on their face. And then the guy pulls out his keys, and he opens a car door, and he looks at me and he goes, we're sorry, we're going to go now, we're going to go. And she's kind of half laughing, half embarrassed, and she's trying to pull up her pants and fix her shirt and stuff. And I just looked at him, and I cut off my high beams, and I went, yeah, they probably couldn't hear me anyway. And then I turned around and tore out of there. What had happened was there's a bar around the corner, and this young couple came out of the bar, and I guess they couldn't wait till they got home, and they just wanted to do the deed right there on the ground in the parking lot. I don't know, guys. I don't know why. White people, that's why. And so they were fucking on the ground next to their car in the parking lot. And when I zipped past them the first time, I thought that he was raping her. And so I wasn't going to let that stand. And that's when I sprung into action, only to be the greatest cock-block boner killer in the history of time. Can you imagine? You're trying to get it on with your girlfriend, and some dude pulls up wearing all black on a loud motorcycle, revving his engine and kicking up dirt, shining the high beams on you. But you know what? They took it in spirit, and they got up and laughed. I'm assuming they thought I was a cop or something. They probably couldn't even see because of the high beam of the motorcycle. And they hopped in the car, and they took off. Huh. I wonder if Batman ever has those troubles. I mean, he has to, right? But anyway, I learned something from that incident. If I'm going to go out and try to fight crime, God, it sounds so stupid now because I'm an old dude now, right? Well, I'm getting there. But I remember I was young. I was like 17, 18. I probably shouldn't do it in my hometown because what if someone sees me or they recognize the motorcycle, right? So I take off and I go about 3 or 4 miles away, way down Mass Ave to a town called Arlington. And I'm zipping around Arlington, and now it's late, right? It's like 9 o'clock because it was summertime. And I'm zipping around looking for something to do, looking for a crime to stop. And I see this group of people, like 2 boys, 2 girls. They were like teenagers, maybe 16. And they're like harassing this pretty girl at the bus stop, right? And she's just waiting for the bus. And now I'm positive this isn't a mistake. Like they're pushing her and shoving her and pulling on her purse and yelling, and she's screaming no. But the bus stop was kind of on a secluded part of the street, so people, they probably didn't even hear her. So I see this and I'm like, okay, I have a chance to redeem myself, right? I'm going to be a hero on my motorcycle with my leather jacket. So I take off up to the top of the hill of the street, and I can look down and I can still see them. And sure enough, she's trying to fight them off, and they're trying to mug her or rob her or assault her in some way. And I'm like, all right, I'm ready. I zip up my jacket, I put on my sunglasses, I flip down my visor on my black helmet, and I take off down the street, man. And I come charging at this group of people. High beams, engine revving. I'm pulling in the clutch so I can rev the engine real loud, right? And they look at me and they're like, yo, 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 yo. And they scatter. And I kind of chase them a little bit down the other way. And they take off down the street and disappear. And then I turn around and I come back to the bus stop. And there's a very pretty girl there. And she looks at me. And she's like, fixing her clothes and stuff and getting her purse in order. And she looks at me and she goes, who are you? Now, see, kids, I never thought that someone would ask me who I was. I didn't even have a cool name ready. Like what, I'm crime-fighting man? Motorcycle man? I didn't even have anything chambered. So I just looked at her and I said, are you okay? God, this is so funny. This is so embarrassing, right? And she looks at me and goes, yeah, thank you so much. I know those kids from school. They were bothering me. They always give me a hard time. And I said, you go home now and stay safe. And she goes, do I know you? And again, I froze. I had nothing chambered. And I just go, take care of yourself. And I revved the engine and took off up the road, up the hill, because it was dark up there. And I take off and I go up to the corner and I turn the corner. And then I cut the bike off and I come right around the corner so I can see her. Now, the bus was going to be coming pretty soon. So I just kind of kept an eye on her, make sure she was okay. Now, these kids, who were bothering her, these hoodlums, they never came back. But the funny thing was, I guess it's not funny, they probably just beat her ass in school the next day. But I stopped that particular crime at that time. Not so much the first one where the guy was trying to bang his girlfriend on the floor, but I felt like I redeemed myself. I was 1 for 1. And I decided I was never ever going to try to do that again. Anyway, that is the story of your boy Rave X, the Vigilante. Wow. What a story, guys. I really am a hero. Did I ever tell you about the time I saved a little girl's life? Well, there's no time for that now, but you can go back and check it out at the Rave X page on YouTube. A little episode I called Hero. It's good. And speaking of other episodes and podcasts, I mentioned a few episodes ago that I'm going to be on a show called Fears and Desires from London, UK, but I did his show a few months ago, and that is coming out in January, guys. It's such a great show. We did a really great job. It was a great conversation. So make sure you just Google Fear and Desire podcast this January, and if you follow me on Facebook, I'll post it up then. Now, kids, this is the part of the show where I say something clever, something witty, something to get you through the week, like, my name's Rave X, and remember this, you reap what you sow. But you know what? Like I mentioned before, this isn't just my show, this is our show, and I want to branch this out and hear what some other people have to say, some other words of wisdom from some of my listeners. So let's go all the way to Salt Lake City, Utah, for a listener of mine and a friend of mine who's going to give us some words of wisdom. T-Money, hit the clip.
What's up, y'all? This is D Wild up in Salt Lake City, throwing a big shout-out to the Rave X podcast. Keep them coming, man. That's some real shit right there. And remember, kids, never make snow angels at a dog park.
Wow, that was good, right? D Wild, thank you very much. Anyway, my name's RaveX. That's going to wrap it up for me. Now, I want you guys to send in your little words of advice. All you have to do is say your name, where you're from, and then whatever little sage advice you have. You can find me on Facebook at RaveX Music, or just Google Raven Xavier, RaveX Podcast. You guys can find me. So there's not much left for me to do except to say, I'm out of here.
That was the RaveX Podcast. Be sure to click like and subscribe. For podcasts, new music, and all things RaveX, go to youtube.com and search RaveX Music.